Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Friday. Welcome to today's live stream. You're going to see something a little bit different here today. There are going to be ads on this live stream today. We're going to test it out. I don't know. I've never tried it before. Tell me if it's annoying. Tell me if it's that big of a deal. I know a lot of people have ads on their stuff. I don't see any ads because I have YouTube Prime, which is really nice because, man, I hate ads. But I'm curious on how much of a hindrance it is to the live stream. So let me know. But other than that, my name's Tyler. If you're here for the first time, thank you for joining. I'm super glad that you're here. It's going to be a great day. We had a phenomenal trade before the stream. We're going to go over that here shortly. And in addition to that, we're going to be going over live price action. We're going to be sharing our daily trading bias. We're going to be giving you a front row seat to all the action. No fluff, just the good stuff. Good morning, Ken. And it's going to be a good day. If you're watching this after the fact, you can jump to key moments. Typically, they have that little volume bar where it says everybody liked watching certain parts. You can jump to those areas that people found interesting, or you can jump to the key markers using the timeline below. And lastly, Apex did what they always do, extended their 80% sale. Honestly, it wasn't a surprise. I expected them to probably extend their 80% sale because has become their de facto normal, where they give it at an 80% off. So you should never be buying anything less than an 80% discount. They did in January. They removed it completely for a whole month. I wonder how much it affected their sales. But anyway, if you want to use Apex, I don't ask anybody to join Apex or make people do something they don't want to do. But if you're interested in using Apex, the only thing I ask is use the code DTJ. The code DTJ linked in the description and in the chat. You will get the most updated discount Apex is offering. And as of today, it's an 80% discount. I use Apex for all my trading predominantly. I do a little bit of trading on a personal account for a small account challenge. And outside of that, everything is on my funded accounts. So I predominantly use those. So if you have any questions about it, feel free to ask. But with that, let's go ahead and check out the market here this morning. How's everybody doing? Let's go ahead and check out what we got going on. Let's jump up to the daily time frame. We are going to look at the daily time frame here. Okay, so I have marked out our previous day highs and lows. Let me go ahead and show you what I have here. Previous day high, previous day low, right there. And then we have our midpoint, okay? We'll get to the white lines here in a second. I have our midnight open already marked out from a lower time frame. And then we have our previous day's wick, which I think I want to keep there. I want to see if we get above the previous day's equilibrium. Do we find resistance in this wick right here at its midpoint? I want to see if price wants to stay heavy underneath there. If we scroll left, you're going to see on the weekly chart, we need to jump up one time frame. That's what it was. There we go. If we jump up one time frame, you're going to see this wick or this fair value gap sitting right here. Well, the remainder, the only unfilled or unmitigated portion of that fair value gap on the weekly time frame was right here. And we filled that up here yesterday on that drop lower. You can see how we came down and we filled it almost completely. We left a very small portion of that daily fair value gap or weekly fair value gap untagged, and which is our previous day low. So previous day low is in the cards, I think. Previous day low can be something where we potentially run for. Let's then at 8:30 we had NFP. We had non-farm payroll. Now, we had somebody, Tony, I said, look at the data highs inside yesterday's first fair value gap. Is that what it is right there? Oh, how convenient. I still haven't completely figured out the first fair value gaps. I think there's definitely some good stuff from it. But let's talk about the trade that I took here this morning. Price found resistance off London. And did I mark London? Let's go ahead and mark our London highs and London lows. We got London high sitting here. That was tagged. As London high. London low is already grabbed. And over here we have previous day's low. All right, so we're good here. So I will give credit to Dodgy D on this model, and I haven't taught it yet because it technically wasn't my model, but I think I'm going to be teaching it here soon. He calls it the one setup for life, which is basically you target the data low or data high. So in this candle, the data high was already taken by the second candle. You can see it taken right there, wicked up into that first fair value gap from yesterday, and slowly made its way down all the way to the data low. So the model is you take your inversion to the downside. I wasn't in front of the charts for this one, so I took the second one. I took this one right here. And you hold to the data lows. And that is a trade in itself. So the entry was, we came up, I think I got in roughly, I think it goes around here. And then we went to the data low. So that was 86 handles, 86 points for that trade. I'll show my, actually I dropped my executions on X. You can see it on X. I posted that there. But right now we're sitting towards the low of the previous day and that weekly fair value gap. Personally, what I would like to see is how we react to this level down here. I think it's going to be important to know how we react unless we get displacement. If we get displacement, that may change some things. We have our Friday TGIF model from ICT, which is marked out by these white lines. This is 30% retracement and this is 20% retracement from the weekly chart. So if we see a retracement, or if we see a retracement from the higher time frame, we could see price potentially move up to some of these levels here. So these are the levels that I'm looking at and considering as far as draws on liquidity. Draws on liquidity. And that's that. I'm pretty much done with my heavy trading for today. I'm going to be looking for some more setups for my funded accounts, but I'll probably be going very light since I already had a winning trade this morning. Other than that, how's everybody else doing? Price found resistance off London. Neither have I. I'm assuming you're talking about the one setup for life there, Tony. We will take a look at the 9:30 model here once we get about a minute away from 9 o'clock or 9:30. We'll see if we get any type of setup for that. We'll look at that. If it doesn't look good, I won't take it. If it does, I'll take it. Ted, good morning. Good morning. So basically, all of our analysis on the Asia range, on the London range, has all been wiped out with the data candle, with the NFP candle. This candle right here has basically eliminated all our analysis to the left that's within it. So the only thing we can look at is price action below it and price action above it. We can look at this, but it's going to be lower probability as far as the reliability on the structure because it's inside the data range. This is a range, right? So what we can mark out is the range high and the range low, which if you want to mark that out, it would look something like that. And this would be the middle of this range right here. So you could potentially look at price coming up to the equilibrium, finding this inversion, maybe finding resistance there, and then giving us an inversion the other way, and give us enough, giving enough confluence that tells us it may want to move lower in price. But I would not really be looking at any of these levels for the most part as a point of resistance, if anything, or at all. If anything, I would be looking at this as a breaker right here. Looking at a breaker for the upside to begin moving higher. Now, do we actually do that? Time will tell here in a few minutes. Yes. You eat breakfast, do your quiet time, and call mom and ask her. Where did you get the high and low from? Randy, high and low in regards to the green lines that I have here. Those are the previous days. So on the right-hand side, you'll see PDL. Maybe that's too small. Maybe I'll make it a little bit bigger. 14. Is that better? Maybe I'll make it bigger. 16. Is that good? That size better? As far as your ability to see it? We have another inversion right here. Yeah, Ted, I mentioned right off the morning, I said, today, folks, we're trying out ads. We're going to see, I wanted to see how annoying they were, I put them on the lowest setting to see how frequent they were. I don't see ads. I never experienced ads in any way. But I said we're gonna see what happens with them today. I like the algo delivery to the first I know Tony pointed that out. That was crazy. That's crazy. To me, that's like you just said, algorithmic, 100%. So here's an inversion right here. We have a breaker that it's ran into right here at the previous day low from 2 days ago. So that's PDL2. That's what PDL2 stands for. Previous day low 2 days ago. And it's displacing, potentially looking, giving us an inversion. And there's the inversion. Now, we have one more minute. I'm curious on if it's going to run this low or not. And this is most likely going to be our opening range gap. I'm not interested in the 930 model. Unless we inverse this level. And yeah, it doesn't look good to me. Good morning. MR, good morning. How long have you been trading full time? So technically, I'm not a full-time trader. I act like I'm a full-time trader. All right, let's see where it goes. The opening price. It did wick. It would have gave us 10 handles there. I just didn't like how it looked, so I didn't take it. Technically, I'm a real estate agent full-time. And I trade for about 2.5 hours every morning. And so I primarily, because I'm a realtor, It affords me the flexibility to trade the New York session, and then usually in the afternoons, I resume my real estate responsibilities. I probably will never give up real estate simply for the fact that you can make a lot of money, not too difficult. It's not too difficult to be a realtor and have other things and do other things. And I also own real estate. I have rental properties. I've flipped properties. So real estate is kind of my, it's one of my tools in my tool belt. So I'll probably never get rid of it. But I've been trading full time, as in like I've been focused on it intentionally. Here's an inversion to the upside. We swept this low. I'm not quite ready for that because we have this previous day low sitting right here. I'm not going to take just an inversion to the upside when we have something right here. Okay, it probably will work. It probably will work. I'm just not interested in it. But I've been trading with the focus of education for about 2 years. It'll be 2 years in April. April 14th. I think it's April 14th, 15th, or 16th. 2 years ago is when I came across ICT. And that literally changed my trading trajectory. From that point, it took me 18 months to start making money. We made equal highs here. Let's go ahead and mark our 930 price. And it looks like we don't have a first fair value gap yet. ICT, Randy, yes, ICT is inner circle trader. Everything that I talk about, when I talk about fair value gaps, inversions, when I talk about equilibrium, when I talk about premium and discount, when I talk about breakers, order blocks, fair value gaps, all those concepts were formulated by a YouTuber named ICT. He has a channel. I highly recommend you check out his stuff, Randy. It's definitely heady. I mean, when I say it's definitely heady, it can be extremely overwhelming because there's so much he talks about. But that's where I learned everything. I consumed hundreds of hours of his content, and I spent thousands of hours studying it. And I believe I still have a long ways to go. He may have. I don't know. I really don't care where he got it from. I just know he taught it. I understood it. And it's changed my life and how I view trading. So we're not using this as our first fair value gap, even though we see a nice reaction to that fair value gap. It's definitely been respecting that inversion multiple times, 2 times, boom, boom, with a push higher. But I'm really wanting to see this, or we can look at the 5-minute, and we can look at, we need to wait for a 5-minute change in state of delivery, potentially, to start looking for prices to move the other direction. But London high's been grabbed. I mean, everything of value right now has been tagged. And the only thing left in my book is down here. Now, we did wick into the remaining portion of that fair value gap, but we did that yesterday too. So I really would like to see us run the previous day low and then run higher, or really just make an attempt to get down there. I guess you could call this your attempt. So if we start seeing displacement on the 5 or 15 minute, I may consider the 15 minutes. Just there's nothing here on the 15 minute. We can't use anything on the 15 minute. Good morning, Lloyd. Hugo, sorry I missed that when I was looking at when I was talking and I saw your next comment. The breaker to the downside, I passed. I'm waiting to see where price. This looks algorithmic. This looks intention, very very much so. Meaning it looks like it's ready to start moving. We'll see if that's the case. Really don't care about those. We have Friday, we have today's midnight price is sitting here. But ultimately, what I'm going to be looking for is our move to the upside to play the TGIF from ICT. Thank God it's Friday, which is a retracement to the 20, between the 20 and the 30% levels on Friday from a weekly candle. Are your P to Rays manually done trading view indicators? I manually do them. There's some hacks that I started doing that makes it a lot faster, especially my previous day high and low. All it is a Fibonacci tool with the previous day high and low tagged on it. I can show you. So if I double click this, the previous day high and low, it's a fib retracement tool. And I just have the, let me make sure it's on screen here. I don't even know if you can see it. There it is. So I just have 0, 1, and 0.5. And then I named it. And then I saved it as a template. So I just drop it on the high and low and it pops it up for me. All right, so there is this is, it did not close this inversion, but this inversion to the downside, if it closes and gives it to us, that looks nice for a trade. I would be interested in that. We are down towards the bottom here. Let's see how we close. I'll be interested in that. If we close below it, break even would be at this low right here, and we would target this low down here. If we run this low before this candle closes, then there will be no trade. Okay, no trade. We closed inside of the fair value gap. So because we closed inside the fair value gap, no inversion to the downside. I put that up there because I thought I was going to take the trade. I'm not interested in this inversion to the upside either because we never grab liquidity. We did tag 930, which is important, but not interested. Oh, we do have the first gap. Oh, that is the first gap, isn't it? That's true. Thank you, Ted. Oh, Tony. Tony said that. All right, so there's our first fair value gap. Inversion. If we see price find support here and doesn't run these lows, I may be interested in taking it to the upside. Simply because this is the first fair value gap. Like that right there. I want to see if it wants to take one more stab at it before it just explodes higher. If it just goes now, it can go without me. Because I'm still looking at this previous day low as a potential. But I mean, this is looking like it wants to do that. If you're appreciating the commentary, hit the like button. Por favor. Thank you so much. The other reason why I'm not super excited about that, this level was just created. This high was just created. If we had like equal highs here, I would have been more interested in it. But this just created, meaning it doesn't have to go up there. It could have dig dipper, made more liquidity, and then exploded higher. So here's our displacement. Let's look at the 5-minute chart here. Nothing as far as fair value gaps on the 5-minute. If we look at the hourly, this is we will have more than likely an hourly reversal. So if this candle closes green, as we're seeing right here, we'll be looking for a 5-minute fair value gap to continue the long to the upside, I think. But we still have like 20 minutes for that. So we're just going to wait for that. Nothing here. 5-minute looks nothing clean, nothing clear. I don't want to participate in that. I want something clean and clear. The 1-minute, we have a failed breaker. And now, nothing that stands out to me here. Unfortunately, I wish there did. I wish I could say something stands out. What's up, Viking? How you doing, my friend? Northern, good morning. Any trades this morning, sir? No, we have another 15-minute candle before we get a fair value gap. We got to wait till 10 o'clock before we get our first 15-minute fair value gap, right? Or am I missing something that you're talking about? All this price action here, I don't want to take a breaker in here because we had this wick of price action just take everything out. ICT talks about you can just eliminate the wick, pretend it wasn't there on a data candle, and focus on the bodies and the structure of the body. If we do that, you can see a breaker right here. But we never grab the low. So technically this breaker is still in play. To see price want to come here, we'll see if it does it or not. But we're getting a lot of nice displacement on the 5-minute candle here. So we are getting some displacement. Watching midnight open, see how we reject it. See if we reject it. Technically on the 15-minute time frame, we do still have the structure of a breaker. I don't know how legitimate it is. We'll see if it wants to come back down, potentially running this low. If we get back down here, my interest will be to this inversion right here. That is where I would be taking a short. I'll be taking a short here unless we get some structure like that for a breaker. If we just start falling like this with no structure, this would be our inversion to the downside to run for those equal lows or run for the previous day low. Viking, you have a gift. What is it, sir? My birthday's not till June. It's a 5-minute breaker. Still don't like it. It's just it's not clean. And my commitment that I do in my journaling is take the clean A+ setups. So that means I'm going to probably miss this because it's not clean. That's just the reality, and I have to become more okay than I have been. I'm okay with it, but I got to become more okay. I got to be comfortable sitting in the waiting, just waiting constantly. You just got to become okay with it. Are we mohawking? Looks that way. You could use this inversion right here as your mohawk. Are we wicking into that? We tagged it, so I would say not quite. And this is we are at the new day opening gap low, new day opening gap high. So I don't, there's not enough for me to just say, yeah, we're going to reverse here. Viking, I have a gift for you. You asked the other day after a copy to your accounts you using. You can use it in NinjaTrader. Oh, so I can use NinjaTrader to copy my different accounts in TradingView, correct? Is that what you're saying? Yes. Hugo, it's possible. I made a whole video on it. It's my back testing video. I can drop that for you, but I'll talk about it briefly here. Probably when we're not in the 10 a.m. macro. Okay, you use it, Viking? Replicano? I've heard some people have some negative things to say about Replicano. I'll check it out though. Is it free to use? Does it cost? Is it a monthly subscription? All right, we're tagging the new day opening gap high right now. And we're almost at the first 20% level. It doesn't matter about the 20% level right now. Cost 300 USD in its lifetime. Okay. That's not bad. I paid $150 for the Apex copier. That's currently what I'm using. But I haven't figured out, like you're mentioning, how to do multiple accounts in the same firm. I haven't figured that out yet. You can get discounts for it. That's good to know. Because I'm all about them discounts. All right, so we did not sweep this high right here. We didn't sweep that high, but we did tag the new day opening gap high right there. We'll see if we actually get some displacement or if it's just a small retracement for continuation higher. It can handle 10 accounts. That's nice. And we're talking like for Trade of 8. Like I obviously have multiple Apex accounts in Trade of 8. I can do that. But if I want to use an Apex account, I want to use, let's just say, a My Funded Futures account. If I wanted to use my personal account and it's all in Trade of 8, you could do that with Replicano, correct? All right, so we still got 36 seconds on this candle, so we'll wait here. We do have a 5-minute fair value gap sitting down here. If we retrace, this is where I'd want it to come down to at minimum. If we get support here, we can take an inversion to the upside. I don't know, man. Hourly, we got resistance right here. The hourly is the breaker right here. Do you see that hourly breaker? Low, high, lower, low. The breaker would be somewhere in this range right here. So it'd be interesting to see if we get through it. We got 7 minutes before 10 o'clock. You can mix your accounts, yes. Okay. Ted, you use the Apex copier, but run the copier in NinjaTrader platform to make the copies, but I execute in TradingView. When you say sweep, you mean pass all the way by, correct? Not just get to the same level. JB, when I say sweep, it sweeps it, as in it grabs the liquidity above it. If I think I know what you're talking about, I was referring to this level right here. Or I was referring to this high right here. I said it didn't sweep it and it rejected it. So I was curious to see if we were going to go lower. So this candle right here at 952 swept it and closed below it. Right now 953 potentially is running it. So there's a difference between running a high and sweeping a high. Sweeping a high, you plan on a reversal or retracement. Running a high, you look to see it close above it, find support back at it for a continuation higher. A sweep is I ran it, I close below it, I look for resistance, I take a trade short. Sweep versus run. But there's nothing here. There's nothing here that I would want to take. Maybe this entry right here, but we didn't retrace down to a fair value gap. I need a fair value gap. There's nothing in here. First fair value gap is this 5-minute. This is what I'm talking about right here, JB. If it finds support right here at with that level that I just marked out, that's where you'd want to see support and it run back higher. If it runs back above that down close candle, that potentially could be an entry expecting that order block to hold. We got a 15-minute OB? No, 5-minute OB. So this is that. So here's an order block that Lloyd just referred to. We touched the wicks of it right here, and we're finding support here. I really would want to see this candle push and close above it. So it hasn't yet, so there's not a continuation. Potentially a reversal, to be honest. I find scalps work for quick 10 handles or so when they tag the levels. Ted, it's one of my favorite things. If I'm in drawdown, that's what I do. If I'm in drawdown, that's how I get out of drawdown. Let me rephrase it. If I'm negative or in drawdown on a day and I just want to, chip at that, but I don't want to try to go for a big winning trade and start over trading, doing those scalps after you run liquidity are very good. That would have been an example of one right here. We swept London high again during the PM or during the AM session. And we really didn't displace much higher. What's our highest level? 14 handles it would have. So now the question is, do we think that this is going to be a legitimate breaker right here if we get displacement here? I would rather see us come back up into here and then come down to mitigate some of this fair value gap. Sweep of liquidity right here. If we get a big candle moving higher, this I would say is probably an A- inversion to the upside. I'm not a fan of it totally. All right, Ted. Thanks for hanging out, my friend. I do like the liquidity that we swept. We came back up to London high. Displacement, what does the 5-minute look like? I really would like it not to hit the 5-minute fair value gap, which it looks like it's going to do right now. Because that 5-minute could be reason for us to pop back higher. Find the support to then move higher. If I'm going to do that, then I'm potentially more interested in looking at longs. It would be from right here. There's the tag. Technically, this right here is our 5-minute. Let's see. Let's see if this 5-minute stays here or if it's going to run all the way down. See how it didn't give us the entry for the breaker? It just went lower. Technically, this breaker worked out, but for what I like to see space and then come back up to it and then take it. Technically, this could have completely reversed. If I would have taken this entry in this fair value gap, it could have just continued higher. It looks like it's running for its previous day low, 100%. But if we look at the hourly, we have our wick move higher. This candle, we want to, in the 10 a.m. candle, we want to see a 5-minute fair value gap that the 10-minute candle comes into. Or 10 a.m. candle, which would be right here. So this could be, if the 5-minute finds support inside this BISI, I would look at taking a long. Sounds like a typical Judas. Are you looking long, Cyrus? I would prefer long right now. We have a 1 minute, or excuse me, an hourly sweep on the hourly time frame. I'm going to take a long right here. I want to see it run through the breaker. I don't want to see the breaker rejected like that. I'm going to move my stop to break even. I'll re-enter if I have to, but I'd rather not take a loss because of the rejection of that breaker. I'm ultimately long, want to go long, so we'll see if it wants to continue. See if it wants to push down here a little bit more. Or if anything, I need to see a close above this inversion. I'll retry it at that point. Hugo, yes, I'm looking for longs. That just sucks that it stopped me out there. I mean, it was my fault I moved my stop to break even. I'm looking for it to close above this and then give me a wick down. If it gives me the wick, that's kind of what I'm looking for. I don't want to take it on expansion. I mean, I would rather grab it down here and then take the long. But I do want to see it violate that inversion. Or violate that fair value gap. And that'd suck if I miss it. Still sitting at this breaker. The 5-minute fair value gap. There's the tag of it again 3 times. I'm bullish. I'm bullish because of that. This candle really made it difficult, but it did close inside it. So I just need an entry for me. This would be an entry right here. It's just too high from this inversion, so I want to wait for something to move lower. I'll take the long there. Let's see if it gives it to me. Stop will be moved to break even once we run that high. I'll put it at the low of this candle, just see if it respects it. Came back down into that inversion again, tagged the inversion. Let's see if it wants to run away here. Stop will be moved once we run this high right here. Come on, don't give it. Oh, son of a gun. Got stopped out. The wicks are horrendous, guys. I mean, like, I want to get back in, but I'm not going to. I'm just not going to. Managing this, the wick management here is very difficult lately because these wicks are large. And I didn't get in at this low either. I got in, I was like up here. That's 28 handle potential drawdown. I don't want to do that. My TradingView screen constantly keeps going blank, then reloads. I mean, Cyrus, I mean, how many handles do you want? How many handles do you think you need to give it? I mean, I guess I can try one more time, but you trade ES. So yeah, the wicks aren't nearly as volatile. Sure. I completely can understand that. I mean, so far it looks like we're consolidating here, so I don't want to try to go long inside this. If it gives me a manipulation, something like runs this level, then wicks back up into here, I'll take my long there. But technically, we're still at this breaker too. So, yeah, I want to go long, but all right, so there's the sweep. Let's see where this candle closes. Back down into the 5-minute. All right, well, that whole idea is gone for right now. Wait for different structure and see if price wants to do something else. This breaker to the downside did hold. There's nothing inside here that gives us any clarity. Minute time frame. Still, we are still inside this range here. Swept that low. Probably can give us a little bounce there after that sweep. See if it bounces higher, maybe comes up to this level here. For then, we'll see if it wants to do that and come lower again. News is driving market lower. Yeah, everybody on the news is saying the market doesn't like Trump's tariffs. We'll see. I don't know if we jump to the 5-minute. 5-minute is displacing lower. We have that. We don't have another fair value gap. I like this 1-minute inversion to the downside right there. We really need to watch 930 to see how it reacts to that level. See if it wants to run for the previous day low. But I'm still considering I want to see that long. So if we can hit the low and go long, I'm interested in that. I just don't think it wants to go down there. That's my gut. But we'll see what it wants to do. We just can't do anything right here. We just have to wait. We're sitting at that first fair value gap. Bodies are respecting the premium portion of that first fair value gap. Wicking lower, moving higher. Just this whole thing. See if we can get up to this fair value gap sitting right there. $10.22. Hugo, I wish I was more patient. We tried a couple here, right in here, and I'm just like annoyed, to be honest. And I don't think I'll take a trade here at 10:30. It's just not a good time to take a trade. It could just stay inside this range and consolidation for another 30 minutes. We wicked this inversion right here. Gave us a small inversion to the downside, but I don't care about that. It's really about this inversion right here. But this could be a sign for that move to go lower. We'll see if it does. First gap, are you referring to the, Tony, are you referring to this one right here? Because here's the problem. I don't know if we want to go lower or higher. Where we are right now, it's 50-50 this way, 50-50 this way. So either you're just taking those quick scalps After it grabs liquidity, like you take right here, you take a scalp from there. You go short when it hits that for 10 points. You go long when it sweeps the liquidity down here, or you wait until you know the direction. Right now it's 50-50. It could go higher, it could go lower. We're not 100% sure. 936 right there. Yeah. I've played the first fair value gap before. It works, but it also doesn't work. There's times that it will completely run against you or run through you. Understanding the draw on liquidity is really important. And I'm not seeing the draw on liquidity yet. I'm not seeing the clear draw on liquidity. So that means we sit and wait. We sit and wait and we don't miss. Yeah, I want it to be a thing. Now, what I do use it for is I'll use it for additional confluences. So if I see a breaker and that first fair value gap's overlapping with that breaker, 100% I'm taking the trade. You know what I mean? It's like it's an extra level of, because we see how algorithmic it can be. Like for example, if there was a breaker right here and it overlapped with this fair value gap and we come up into that, you betcha I'm going short right there. That's just an algorithmic signature. Right now, we don't have anything right now. Like if we close below this, that's our best bet for a short. I'd be willing to take this as long as we're not running this low down here, which is right here. I don't want to run that low. Doesn't look like it's going to close here. So the question is, are you going to chase it because it looks like it's going to grab, or are you going to wait? That's the question, because it looks like it could go right now. All right, let's try this, see if it wants to run to the previous day low. We're in this, and it tagged me right there. That was a very fast trade. And then there's the continue a little bit. Are we going to sweep or are we going to purge this level here? Sweep or are we going to run it? We only took that trade to that low. That was it. That was it, my friends. That was so quick. Can you imagine? We've been streaming for how long? An hour and 16 minutes. That trade lasted 3 seconds. That's the hardest. That's the hardest part of trading. Being patient that long for something that quick. Yeah, I could have not sold it and held it for longer. But I mean, are you really going to hold past a previous day low? Because that to me is like an ultimate target. Weekly highs, weekly lows, previous day's highs, previous day lows are like the ultimate targets. Lloyd, it is crazy. I'm telling you. Waiting for those moments is by far the hardest aspect of trading. Because how many times did we look at any of this here and be like, oh, we could go long. Oh, we could go short. Oh, we could go long. Oh, we could go short. Oh, this one looks really good. Boom. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. How many times did I say, oh, you could go long here. Oh, we could go long here. We could go short here. We could go long here. Short, long, short, long, short, long, short, 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 long. It is so difficult because there's endless options for trades. There's endless options. And I'm talking this for me, guys, because, I mean, I took two trades, 2 or 3 trades in here? I think it was 2. And 1 break even, 1 at a loss. Yeah, it looked decent, but it wasn't clean. This was obvious with an obvious target. It's like the double combo. Obvious with obvious. I'm just saying, trading's another level when it comes to like self-discipline, self-awareness, mastering a craft. Hands down, one of the hardest things you could do is trading. But when you figure it out, man, when you can master yourself, it is like, I don't like saying a cheat code because that's what everybody else says, but it gives it illustrates the point. It's like a cheat code. Follow your rules, follow the plan, take your trade, walk away with the money. For those on the stream, I said it earlier this morning, but there was only a few people on here. Apex did extend their 80% off sale. So if you do use Apex, all I ask is use the code DTJ. If you don't use Apex, no pressure. If you want to try it out, you can use the code DTJ and get an eval account for 50% off or 80% off. That makes a 25K account at $29 and a 50K account at $33 to get started with that. So it's really low cost for the most part. And I don't have any issues with them paying out as long as you're following the rules. Yes, Judah. You didn't bring home your trumpet, did you? Practice drums and then you can. That's fine. You know what? Here's what I don't like about the trade that we took is it was right at 10:30, 10:31. I don't like taking trades at the middle of the hour. I really don't. But we did this one because it's just, I mean, everything worked out, thankfully. All right, let's jump up to the hourly. And let's see, we might need to go to the daily. Here's the daily time frame. As far as what do we have lower beneath us that we could find we could be reaching for? You got this previous day low here from September 19th. Let's jump to the weekly. You got this weekly low down here from September 16th. What do we got on the monthly? Is there anything on the monthly? Nothing on the monthly. We did already run a monthly low right here. I'm going to mark that out. I want to see where that comes out to be. Monthly low. Interesting. That monthly low was right here. That was the monthly low. So personally, I want to treat this as a purge. I really do. But if it wants to continue to sell off, it can. We could use 930 as a breaker later on. We could use the monthly low as a breaker to a continuation lower, potentially. Tony, my son's 13 years old, and he plays trumpet and drums. And he doesn't have school today, so he was asking if he could play the video game. So I have some routines for my kids before they can do the things that they want to do. They have to do their quiet time. They have to do their homework. They got to read a paragraph or a chapter in a book that I want them to read, and then write me a paragraph on what they learned from that chapter. Any homework they have, and then after they do all those things plus practice drums and trumpet, then he can play the video game for an hour. The CE of the monthly wick? Interesting. That seems really low. I mean, that's 500 points away. Maybe break that down into quarters. I would rather break it into quarters, maybe. See if it respects the middle, this portion of it. Heck of a sell-off, isn't that? It's about time, to be honest. It really is. And then if we are going to reach maybe the midpoint of that wick, like you mentioned, that does overlap with this daily fair value gap. And the previous week low. I would say previous week lows looking pretty nice. How many points is that? It's 160 points. But since this we don't have a single fair value, we got one right here. If we can do a wick up into a fair value gap, if we expect this situation to continue, that might be an option to jump in on the continuation. Watching the wick in between here, right here. I want to see if it respects that. I want to see this candle close red, or black. I want to see it close black, ideally. Okay, so sitting here, seeing where it wants to go here. I'll be right back, folks. I'm going to use the restroom. All right. So do you guys think we're going to run for that previous day low, or do you think the low's set? 1 minute inversion went 40 points. Yeah, but here's the problem. Here's the thing is like we didn't have a liquidity point grabbed. So can we go long right here? Sure. But we didn't have this ran. We didn't have a liquidity point ran. You could say, well, what about this low right here? What about this, 1038 candle? Yeah, to me, this is just one massive drop. And this could have easily just been just a quick retracement. Because we would have to go, all right, so let's just do a horizontal line. I'm curious now. Because some of these things it's almost impossible to like identify. So let's move over, let's go all the way to September. If it'll even go back that far. Let me jump to the 5 minute here. I mean, we're going back a long ways here. Let me jump to the 15 minute. Which way am I going? I don't even know which way I'm going. I don't want to go this way. It's so far back, guys. I mean, how do you even... There it is. Like, yeah, on the contract, it makes no sense. The low tapped an 1 hour low from the left. Yeah, but that's just not enough for me. I mean, it was from September. It's just really hard. To me, if you're going to go back that far, it has to be like a daily time frame. I mean, does the algorithm go back and look at from 5 months ago and pull out a fair value gap on the 5 minute chart? Maybe. I won't be able to predict that. So you would have taken this inversion on solely on momentum, thinking that, oh wait, we're going to get this, at least I might be able to get this high right here. So you can take those, they just have not as high a probability of success. Do we got a 15-minute fair value gap? That looks interesting. From 10 a.m. Let's see if we have a 15. There it is. So there's a model that goes on a 4-hour reversal that you go short inside the 15-minute fair value gap, and we just wicked up into it just now. So the model is when you have the 2 a.m., it can be any time frame or any time candled, but this 4-hour candle was swept by this candle. It closed inside, and then in the third candle, you look for a 15-minute fair value gap to go short in. And that 15-minute fair value gap was right here. So let's, assuming we play on that same narrative, assuming that we get resistance here, we have that breaker, we could potentially look at this 1-minute inversion to go short to run these lows right here. It's a single fair value gap in this price range. It doesn't look too bad. We're in the macro. Let's see if we get it. Right now, we're going to look at going short here, if it will give it to us. And do we need to run lower? No, we don't. We don't need to run lower. But let's see if we can get it. So far, I like the idea. It's based on a 15-minute fair value gap rejection. And we do have higher time frame liquidity beneath us if it wants to go that direction. To me, these are failure swings so far. This wick right up here, failure swing, as in it closed back inside the range of these down close candles. This is a failure swing as well, wicks up but closes inside these range as well. So we'll see if it wants to do something here. There's another inversion right here. I don't like that one as much, but could work. That looks bullish. At least that one candle, you don't take a trade off of that. I used to take trades out like that, and I'm like, you can't do that anymore because it'll just come right back down many times. Closing inside that fair value gap again. Wanting to see if price wants to roll over and run back down to these lows potentially. I would I'm 50-50 on this low. I don't know if this is a target or not. I really don't, because it's so far back. But we've just been in a giant sell-off that I don't want to assume that we can't go any lower, because we've just been selling off day after day. If we can put this order block in, if we can put a green candle right here and then close below that and closing below this, I would be interested in that. Especially now that it's 10:59. Does Trump speak in 2 minutes for real? Wow, that might change me wanting to do anything. I just don't want to slap in the face with a bunch of wicks, you know what I'm saying? That's the last thing I want. Maybe I put a 20 handle stop loss and 20 handle target and see if it wicks it, if it wants to give it to us. I mean, I like this. If it closed below, I probably would take it. I don't like that it's going to be 11 o'clock, but maybe we don't get it and makes it easy for us. Doesn't look like we're going to get it, so we don't have to worry about a trade here. Let's see what happens. A little bit of a move. I mean, Trump's always speaking. That's the thing. What? He's always talking. I don't know where price is going either. I'm just watching. I'm just reading order flow, and based on a this is from T-Trades. From what I gathered, he talks about a 1 hour reverse model or a 4 hour reverse model, and that's what we're looking at right here is a 4 hour reverse model, and it's based on this 15-minute and the 4 hour chart. So based on that, which I haven't completed my back testing on it. I've been doing the 1 hour. The 1 hour looks good. Not so good on the Nasdaq, but on other time frames or other assets, like EU or Euro USD, like gold. They've played out, but I don't normally trade all that stuff. He's done a lot of tariff talks already. I don't think there's going to be anything new. If there's going to be something new, I think it would have to do with Zelensky. All right, there's the close. I'm going to try this real quick, see if it wants to just give me a 20 handle push. Or it stops me out. We'll see. 2020. Once we hit this low right here, I'll move my stop to break even. I would need to move my stop to break even once we hit here. All right, stops at break even. Oh, no way. Come on. If it's going to come back down, I'm moving this now. It came to the tick, so if it comes back down there, I'm going to let it see if it wants to push lower here. 8 seconds. Get ready for exit here. See if it wants to run lower. Probably going to stop me out. Come on, what do you got? Give me a big push right here. There it is. All right, we're going to close that 20 handles. We'll see if it wants to run again and close below this inversion right here. I'm still open to that trade. Alkai, you like the small window? I just got tired of going back and forth, so I figured I'd try to see if I could put it up on the screen. So I could still do my analysis, and because I'm always on this chart. All right, so no close on this. This is a good sign for later on. So we took this inversion, this short inversion. The main reason I was open to it was because of this order block right here. This candle right here, these two candles. It gave me confidence that if we close below that, this might act as an order block and keep price from wicking back higher. That was the main reason. $15-minute time frame. This is what I'm talking about. This candle could really expand right here. We got a 5-minute inversion right there. If it's going to do it, I would want to do it here shortly, or we'd probably have to wait till noon. We did get a market structure shift, so on the 5-minute. Yeah, well, no, we didn't. Neither on the 15-minute either. On the 15-minute, that's our key, is we actually filled this 15-minute for value gap. So to me, it looks lower, if anything. For someone who's never gotten a payout yet, what is a good realistic daily profit goal? If you've never gotten a payout, do you have a funded account right now? Yes or no? Okay. Is this your first? How have you had a lot of funded accounts or no? 6 of them? Don't worry, I've had more. I would trade with 1 or 2 micros until you can see consistency. Because did you do the monthly or did you do the one time for 10 years? You can copy trade, that's fine. But if you're going to do that, you can, if you play the slow game, you can get rich. If you play the fast game, you're going to go broke. So I would do one micro. I would trade with 1 or 2 micros. That's what I would trade with, and let your consistency prove your success. Not a once in a lifetime, I took 15 handles on this green candle right here and I just made $1,000. Woo, who cares? But you probably won't be able to do it again, right? So let the small size and consistency be your success. And it's way less stressful than taking a mini contract or 10 micros and stressing that, I could blow this account. Go to a single micro, you lose $20, $40, $60, depending on if your stop loss is 10, 20, or 30 handles, and that's it. But if you get a trade and you get a win, you're going to make 60, you're going to make 120. And then once you make a win, stop for the day and then come back the next day. This lesson is the hardest thing to learn, man. Okay, and I'm not even kidding you. That right there is more valuable to learn than learning to take big trades. Yeah. Go a single micro. That's it. Single micro. Don't do anything else. Here's the thing. You need to become okay with taking a single micro. If you have thought, I have this same struggle, what I'm telling you. When you have the thoughts of, maybe I should, double my size to 2 or 5 micros if I have a really good setup and I could take that and I could get out of drawdown faster. That is greed, trying to get you to not follow the plan, and it will only hurt you. Yes, you may get out of drawdown 1 time, 2 times, 3 times because you went 5 contracts. I deal with these lies all the time. But the problem is when you do that, you're solidifying in your subconscious, in your mind, that I can do this again. And then you can do it again and again. Well, you're not going to win every time. And one of those times, if not multiple of those times, it's going to burn you. And it's going to hurt. It's going to suck. And you literally have to avoid those. I mean, I had those thoughts today. Today I had those thoughts. This morning before I sat down. Because yesterday I told myself I'm only trading with 1 micro today. After I get my win, I'm only trading 1 micro. That's it. I'm going to just build my multiple accounts and I'm going to build them trading 1 micro. Even though I normally trade with 5. I normally trade with 10. But as soon as I sat down and I'm like, this looks like a good trade. Maybe I could size up a little bit here and just, do it in 1 big trade. No. It's literally greed, and you're teaching your subconscious to break your rules. You're teaching yourself to not following the plan, and that, breaking the rules is actually beneficial. You don't want to break your rules. You want your rules to become so concrete. I'm talking to myself. You want it to become so concrete that this is what it is, period. Now, it doesn't mean you can't, after a trading day, reevaluate how your trade plan went based on the market you're seeing and go, you know what? I think it's wise if I only trade this model and not this model. Or maybe I need to include this other strategy in my trading arsenal. And then you modify your rules, but you don't modify your rules when you're in front of the charts during your trading session. You modify your rules at the end of the day when you have your thinking and your planning brain back on. Right now, we're in execution mode. We're in performance mode. We're in I need to make some money mode. Well, that throws everything out the window if you're not careful, because the emotions, the adrenaline takes over, and you use your rules as your guardrails to guide you along this path when your emotions and your adrenaline's pumping. You have to. So if you're struggling with the urge to size up, that's a sign you're not ready. That's a sign you're not ready. I'm talking to myself here, folks. It's an urge. It means you're not ready. Many times when I size down, I'm sizing down to beat my body into submission and tell it what to do because I'm wanting to size up. I want to take bigger trades. Oh, you want to take bigger trades, Tyler? Okay, we're going to size down right now because you're not ready. We're going to take smaller trades, and then you're going to sit in front of the charts and you're going to do it, period. You're not going to change your rules and size up later. No, we're going to tell our body what to do. We're going to tell our mind, this is the plan, this is what you're going to do, and you're not going to change it. I want my mind, my emotions to know that I'm in control, that I'm in charge. I'm not going to let my feelings of wanting to size up so I can make bigger wins, make money faster, influence me. So I'm going to go the other direction. I'm going to downsize more. Yeah, you're going to be okay with a single micro. That's what you're going to be okay with because you're not ready. And then it's really good to make sure you are realistic on your where you are in your trading journey. You need to be realistic. Are you really consistently profitable? Or are you semi-consistently profitable? For me, I would probably say I'm in between consistently profitable and semi-consistently profitable. That's where I'm at. And I know that I have to become more disciplined in my trading to be able to make that jump. So being realistic, being able to look at yourself in the mirror and saying, you know, Tyler, you're not where you want to be. You struggle with A, B, C, and D, but you're not where you were. You've made progress A, B, C, and D. So let's be realistic and let's put a plan and structure and a strategy in place to support you so that you can get from point A to point B, from point B to point C. Cyrus, I appreciate that. I think I'm like 65% when I come to obeying my rules. Because you guys see what I do in 2 hours. You don't see or know what everything that's going in my mind. And yeah, I could spill the beans and talk about every ups and downs that I have, but that's not what this channel is about. This is about teaching you the right way to do things. And then I have my own personal disciplines that I'm growing in, and I share those as I go through them. I use those as lessons all the time. But I appreciate that. I know I have such a long ways to go though as well. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 tags of this fair value gap. Look at that. That's crazy. 8 tags. So if we do close below this, I probably will take a short. I want it to come back up. I'm not going to take it yet. I want it to wick back up. Don't go without me. Son of a gun. All right, it hasn't gone yet. But I'm missing this trade, folks. I really wanted it to do one of these. That's 20 points it gave you if you got in it. And there's the low right there, tagged. Oh, man. 30 points. I hope somebody took that. Somebody probably took that. I didn't. Son of a monkey's uncle. Too quick for you? No, I don't think it's a turtle soup. I don't think so. I think we're going lower. Now, maybe it is because we're at 11:17 and we have, noon is right here. So we have all this time for time to pass, so it could do something like this. But is it going to do a turtle soup and run the other direction right now? No, I don't believe so. I don't think it can do that. The reason why is we're not in the time is not aligning with a giant reversal. And you're not seeing a giant candle move the other direction very quickly. Where I think it's going to run is to this fair value gap and not run. I would not take this short. The time is not correct, meaning I think it could come here and come back up here, do something like this for 35 minutes, and then at noon, run the low. But you're not going to, you can, but it's not common that you get, at 11:18, 11:19, a giant push lower. It just doesn't happen. So I would rather see this find support and see if it wants to stay around here. If it runs lower, it will go without me because my entry should have been up here and I didn't take it. Here's a breaker right here. Would like to see if it wants to wick down in here and come back up in here. You could get probably a 10, 20 handle retracement. Oh, there's a yes. Thank you. Volume imbalance included. Thank you, Ted. Emilio, good morning. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Another reason why I reduced my size, it was just less. It became it was less stressful taking trades on screen when you have a lower amount. It's just, and I want to do proper analysis and not let how I feel get involved. All right, so let's see how this candle plays out right here. Even if it closes below, oops. Even if it closes below, I think it could just pop right back up. I'm going to take a long right here. See it for 20 handles. See if it wants to hit. Oh, missed it. Come on. If it stops me out at break even, that's fine. At this point, it probably could go higher if it's going to come back up. So I'm going to see if it wants to run higher. Nope, stopped out. Not a bad. I don't regret taking that. I think that was a decent move. I just wish it grabbed my 20 points. But I didn't. I'm going to move my stop to break even. So even if it runs it, I mean, I'm not going to let it go negative on me. Because it went to like 19. It missed me by like a point. Technically, that did close. No, it didn't close below, but it wicked below this. Let's see if it actually wicks below the low here. My guess is it's not. Or maybe it does and doesn't grab this low down here. So it could do something like that and come back up. Let's see if it runs lower here. Technically tagged it. Yeah, I wouldn't have taken this dirt based on the time. I just... Folks, we're going to call it a day here. I think that's time to call it a day. Hopefully you had a good day, good week trading. If you do use Apex, use the code DTJ. I greatly appreciate it. But we're going to call it a day here, folks, and be back on Monday for another trading week. God bless. Stay safe. And we will see you all on Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.